This is Phil with Dillinger Labs and SKA, and we messed up. If you're one of the people that ordered one of the first 100 units of Death from Below, it is unfortunately suffering from a firmware issue. If you're one of these people, you would have received an email a while back, but for clarity's sake, let's say that you just got your DFB and pulled it out the box, powered it on, and you found an EQ and time-align preset that you like. Well, once you power your DFB off and then power it back on, it's going to default to EQ and time-align preset 0, which is bottom and 0 milliseconds respectively. If you check the LEDs when you power this back on, you might notice that they would say you're at the preset you were at before, but in reality, they're at preset 0 for both EQ and time-align. That being said, the EQ and time-align settings still work. You can still set those by tapping the power button however many times you need to. It's just that they won't save when you power it off. So we want to make this right, and we're doing so by making sure that everyone has access to what they need to make sure that this gets fixed. That includes all the hardware necessary to flash the firmware onto the DFB, a T15 Torx bit to make sure that you can get in, and support from us here every step of the way to make sure that you have the help that you need. To make things as easy as possible, we've gone ahead and filmed a tutorial video to get everyone started, but again, we're here every step of the way to make sure that any technical questions are answered or any help is there when needed throughout any step of this process. Now, we understand that flashing firmware is a bit of a scary process if you've never done it before, but we've gone through our instructions and the process and the hardware to make sure everything is as rock solid as possible, and the chances of anything going wrong are less than minuscule. In the event that something does go wrong during the firmware process, we'll just replace your DFB, no questions asked, free of charge. Here to speak more on that process is Courtney, our manager of operations.
So when we first found out about the bug, we realized as a group that this was something that had to be addressed and addressed right away. And so we had to develop a plan, and we put a plan in place to provide a firmware uploader, the cabling required, even the tools required to do the firmware upgrade on your DFB.
We also really want to make sure that we properly thank you guys for helping us solve this issue. So everyone that does the firmware update is going to get a warranty extension on their Death from Below to 3 years. You're doing the upgrade work, so you should get something in return. We also recognize that there may be a small subset of people who don't use these features and therefore don't really want the firmware upgrade. Let's get on a call or an email and discuss your situation and how we can still help to make this right. But if you're a Soundbox user that's taking your gear all over the place and using the Soundbox specific preset on DFB, or if you found a preset that you really like for your listening setup, or any other use case, we recognize that having to go and change your settings every time you power on DFB isn't something that we want you to be dealing with. Now, again, this issue is only affecting the first 100 units of DFB that went out, and you'll know you have one of those units if you see an email that looks like this from SKA support. You would have received your DFB in about April or May of 2024. If you don't have that in your inbox, then you are totally good to go and everything is fine.
And you know, we thank everybody for supporting this, and all of the pro users, even down to the folks that are at home giving us great reviews. It's huge. All of that support and love is what we really appreciate.
So there you have it. Those are the steps we're taking to try and rectify this admittedly large mistake. But just like Courtney said in that interview, all of us from the bottom of our hearts appreciate every little bit of support that we get from you guys, and we want to make sure we uphold that respect by being as transparent as possible. That being said, if you have any questions about this, please feel free to ask away in the comments or reach out to support@ska.com, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can with an answer. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.